Alright guys, are you ready to be black-pilled? Because in this video, I'm going to show you every single tier 11 tank that they're adding, all 16, and I'm going to show you all the little tiny tricks and things Wargaming did to make them garbage. I'm not even trying to be a hater, but they did a lot of little things here and there to ensure that these tanks are not actually that good. I'm serious. When we're comparing them on Tanks GG, these are the unupgraded stats. See, the Rat, for example, goes 20 after you upgrade it, but out of the box it goes 18. I'm going to compare the unupgraded stats because you're going to spend the vast majority of time playing these tanks unupgraded because, check this out, it's in the tech tree, right? Okay, 100,000 at the tier 8, okay, 169,000 at the Moushin, 220,000 for the Mouse. Now you have to grind 325,000 XP to get a side grade. Imagine here, side grade, the Rat here. Because it's unupgraded. It's basically still a tier 10. You'll see in a moment. Then you have to spend another 320,000 XP to get it to tier, not 11, tier 10 and a half. That's what these tanks are. They are tier 10 and a half tanks that cost 640,000 XP. And it's actually appalling. Why am I calling them tier 10 right off the box, or right out of the box, and then tier 10 and a half after all the upgrades? Well, I'm going to show you. Here's the Mouse versus the Rat, okay? The DPM right out of the box, tiny marginal increase. Alpha damage, tiny marginal increase. I will say the pen goes from 311 to 330, so that's pretty nice. APCR to heat, I'll still take the 330 heat. Let's scroll down. Aim time, accuracy, same. Dispersion factors, a bit worse. Oh, lovely. I think this might get upgraded. I don't know. It doesn't say it on the website. Wargaming don't usually just give us raw dispersion factors. They give them us in percentages, but they didn't even give us a percentage. I'm looking on the website on the second monitor. The top speed is the same. They'll both go 20. The power to weight is worse, but I think that also gets buffed, but still. So right out of the box, it's slower. And the armor is worse. Okay, in a moment we'll look at that. The health is a bit higher, and it does get more higher. It gets to like 3,500. And the camo, okay, well, who cares? So here, this is the black pill part, okay? Here's the Mouse against Mouse Gold 311, right? Basically impenetrable. From far away, when the angle flattens out, the lower plate becomes green, right? As you can imagine, it's a flatter angle now. But when you're up close and personal in a brawl, yes, look at that. It's decently strong, kind of impenetrable almost against the Mouse. Okay, let's look at the Rat. It's similar. You angle it. And, well, okay, this is the weakest part. 320 right here. So 340 heat is going right through this. But that's kind of true with the Mouse. Even though it's 340 here, 340 heat still goes through it. But with the Mouse, right, we have that weak spot in the gun mantlet. I'm so glad they replicated it here. The Rat also has it. Great. And that just wasn't enough, by the way. Look at this. It actually has 0mm armor plate, or it's spaced. The little like rangefinder ears. There's a hole here, so you can pen this with anything. I mean, it's 211. Yeah, sure. You don't see it from up front, but if you want to angle the turrets to get some use out of it, and let's say you got tracked because, you know, it's a big heavy tank, already, whatever, and he's angling his turret. Well, yeah. Now you might say, oh, well, I like that the tank has a weak spot. Okay, fine. I don't think most people think the Mouse is overpowered, and it doesn't have this weak spot. So why did this tank need this weak spot? I mean, the Mouse already had a gun mantlet weak spot that was relatively unknown, except thanks to the armor flashlight, it'll be relatively known. Same thing here. You aim here, armor flashlight will tell you here, and then it might not go as far as over there, but eventually you might glance over and see that, oh, it's actually green over here as well. So, splendid. So, the armor at tier 11 is, I would say, like, the hull, yes, okay, the lower plate is better, right? Sure. It's better in some areas and worse in other areas. That's why I said it's a tier 10 and a half, because, yeah, it's stronger here, but then it gets this weak spot. Also, how do you angle this? This flat plate here. The Mouse doesn't have this problem, but this tank does. And yes, we're comparing Mouse to Mouse, okay? This isn't like a higher pen round. It's the same round. So what is its ability? It fires a coaxial gun. And quite frankly, I like this ability. I think it'll be quite nice, right? Look at that. Now, of course, this is a 50B side, so it's going to pen, obviously. It's HE. with 80 millimeters of pen and I believe 250 alpha damage. In reality, what is this coax gun good for? Sure, it's good for shots like this. It's good for like shooting a shit barn, HE. It's also good for not wasting your shell on arty if you want to save it for something else, something that's more armored. But mainly what it's actually good for, you shoot someone, you leave them on 50 HP, you splash them and kill them. That's quite nice, I'm not gonna lie. Being able to counteract a low roll by splashing them to finish them off, very good. So that's nice. But yeah, the armor is a bit of a letdown. We'll have to see. But yeah, of course it does suffer from the average mouse shit, or yeah, the cheeks. The saving grace is that the cheeks are, in fact, smaller than the mouse's cheeks, right? So that's good. Hopefully this armor is an improvement, but I'm not going to hold my breath. The KR1, which is the IS-7 upgrade, right out of the box, it does get a decent amount of more alpha damage, which jumps up to 540. So that's okay. The DPM is marginal. And it goes from 310 to 325 heat. Yeah, I mean, 325 heat. Guys, tier 10s, like that 277, the object 277 right there. Has 340 heat. And this is 325, a tier higher. Yeah, that's not too good. And look at this shell velocity, yikes. The aim time's marginally better, but the dispersion factors seem to be a bit worse. You can see here 0.06, but for some reason this 0.06 is red. Why is that? It's a rounding error. If we set this to 3 decimal place, you'll see 0.60, 0.63. Guys, this extra decimal place is so tiny and minuscule, I don't care. Okay, it's 0.06 for both. Here's the sad part. They both go 60. If you look at the upgrades right here, upgrades with and without, the top speed does not change. You see it's 60. It's 60 with or without the upgrades. You just get a horsepower buff. So what does that mean? That means this thing is slower than the IS-7. Because the IS-7 gets a field mod that does this. 4 kilometers per hour to your top speed. It also has the one where it makes you faster here, and then health. So, yes, it goes 64. And with a turbo and engineering, it's 70. Whereas this, I think the highest it can go is 67 with engineering. So it is slower. However, it is decently heavier. So that's a perk. I'm not sure how World of Tanks calculates RAM damage, but if it follows 1/2 MV squared, it's the speed that's more important, not the weight. But I don't know if that's what they do, so I can't confirm that. The health benefit, when you upgrade it, goes to 2800, which is basically a fully loaded IS-7. So that's good. Camel's a bit worse, but who cares? So here's the IS-7. Here's it against its gold rounds. It's basically impenetrable. It has these little things here, but I don't know about you. I've never been hit here myself, and I've never managed to land a shot on this. So for practicality's sake, it's not a weak spot. The KR1, interesting. It does have a cupola. It's fucking enormously thick, but you load heat and funnily enough, straight on, it's 317, but on the side, it's like, what was that? 309? Interesting. So you maybe aim a little bit to the right, I guess. It's not really a cupola. I mean, it's a cupola against Jagdpanzer 100s, I guess. But yeah, this armor is pretty intense. I mean, but the kind of the annoying part is, look at this. This is an overmatch. I mean, the IS-7 is not an overmatch here. And so what does this mean? Because the IS-7 is like a hemispherical turret, shots that ricochet go up. For the KR1, shots that ricochet go down into this paper-thin plate. Actually, look at that. It splits off. It goes from 45 to 30. 30 right here. So, yeah. Shot trap. I guess any shot that lands here or down here. Wait, it does actually say it right here on Tanks GG. Look at that. So it ricochet, then 100% chance of penning. So that's kind of obnoxious, don't you think? Also, it has something similar. It has a 0 armor plate here, but looking at it, it's like kind of thick, I guess. But head on, it's 260. So and it's a tiny pixel, just like this IS-7 here. I don't think anybody's gonna hit it, but I mean, it's there. There's 2 of them, and it's there. Otherwise, yes, this thing's pretty strong. Like an IS-7 against its own standard rounds, you angle like that, it's orange, right? Or yellow, and you load gold and it's green. This, it's red. You load heat, and it's kind of green, kind of not. So it's a bit of an armor upgrade. The only thing is, the IS-7 has a really troll side. Look at this. It's curved. See how that's curved like that? This means like from here, or roughly here and up, this is just all a ricochet. KR1 is not really like that. It's just flat. And it's got a slight curve here. The i7 has spaced armor along this curve here. So, like, you angle it like this, it's going to auto-ricochet. But if you load heat, which doesn't ricochet, well, now it's got to go through spaced armor. So it's just not going to pen no matter what ammo you fire. For this, it's not quite as simple. So we're loading gold here. Okay, let's load the heat here. Yeah, it's going to go through. So it's not as strong, right? So, yeah. The IS-7 has very trolly armor, whereas this one is more consistent, like strong frontal armor. So, fine. I think this tank will be okay. What is its ability? Ramming. Why does this have to be an ability? Because, like, okay. You know, to be fair, he wasn't actually going that fast. What is this, 40? This is like 40 or 35? So that's pretty good. He wasn't actually going that fast, and he hit him for pretty hard. So that's cool. But I'm just wondering, like, yeah, 700. I'm wondering, isn't this like the field mod on the E50M? And like that's 1,000. I don't think this is not top speed. Right? This is not 70 kilometers or 66 or 67 kilometers per hour. So, you know, I'm quite interested. What happens when this thing is going downhill and it reaches its top speed? Is it gonna just straight up do 2,000 ram damage? Well, we're gonna have to find out, right? But let's just go back to the stats, because the power to weight is basically the same as the IS-7, which means it's worse than the 260. However, with upgrades, it goes to 19. So it is actually a bit better than the IS-7. So for the sake of the comparison, let's remove the field mod, okay? There we go. Then, sure, it is marginally faster. There we go. So the IS-7's field mod reduces its ground resistances. The KR1's upgrade increases the horsepower to ton from 17.7 to 19. Which one is the better upgrade? We can emulate it by putting a turbo. This turbo will bump it up to 19. So that, imagine this is the upgrade. We upgraded the KR1 and its power to weight is now 19. The IS-7 gets a field mod for its terrain resistance. Okay, so which one is faster? The IS-7. The IS-7 is faster. So the KR1's horsepower per ton advantage is not as good as the IS-7's terrain resistance advantage, right? See right here? 56.3, 55.8. So the KR1 is slower. Okay, there you go. Good to know. Is it worse than the IS-7? If this is accurate, I think it would be actually insane. I think it would be a pretty good upgrade if going like 35 rams for 1,000. That's crazy. So we'll have to find out. Let's go to the next tank. The BZ75. This one is very disappointing. I'll tell you why, but okay, let's compare the DPM. We actually get a decent DPM boost. It's 690 alpha. It gets upgraded to 700. Okay, good, fine. The aim time is slightly better, but oh look, the same really bad dispersion factors, and the turret traverse is a little bit better. The BZ79 is going to be pretty derpy like the BZ75, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. It gets a decent chunk of hit point increase, so that's good. Let's take a look at the armor. And the armor is quite interesting. It's quite funny because if you look at these two, like the BZ here, you see, okay, look at this. 3 cupolas. That's pretty annoying, right? Bing, bang, bong. 3 cupolas, fine. This, it has 2 cupolas and they're smaller. Okay, cool. The BZ75, because of its 3 cupolas, it basically means the entire top of this tank is green, right? It's very little areas where it's not green. So with this only 2 cupolas, it should be stronger, right? Well, we're replicated it by making it overmatchable. So yeah, it's also the entire top is green. However, to be fair, it is 50 millimeters. So only 152 millimeter guns will overmatch it, right? Everything else won't overmatch it. So yeah, it is actually, it's better. The cupolas are smaller and only certain tanks can overmatch it. So yeah, if we look at the armor, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yeah, that's right. They don't want you to side scrape. They didn't put a corner plate, but they put this. Yeah, if we like straighten out the turret here, yeah, great. Also, some weird thing I noticed. Why does the turret bulge out here? You notice that? Look, it's like, you'd think this would be spaced armor, but it's not. It's just bulged out, and then it connects to spaced armor. What even is this, like, what am I looking at here? Anyway, the real downside is the rockets, right? So, everybody's like, wow, this BZ will be really meta because it can actually regenerate its rockets. Here's the problem. Let's look at the BZ75. You have 6 rockets. You activate one. You rocket for 10 seconds. Short 4-second cooldown, 10 seconds. Short 4-second cooldown, 10 seconds. Guys, how many rockets does it take to get into position? 3? 4? Maybe on like Malinovka, it could even be 5 rockets to get into position, right? So this cooldown allows you to burn these rockets relatively quickly to get into the early position. Let's look at this version of the rockets, the liquid rockets. Okay, he's going to activate it. You can see right here. There. It looks to be 10 seconds, right? 4, 5, 6. Okay, and he let go at 6, and then it cools down, right? Let's see. He's probably going to activate it again. Yep, there we go. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you're out. How long are you out for? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's quite a while. We'll say, what is it, 30? You think it was 30 seconds? 25 to 30 seconds? 25 seconds is a lot higher than 4. Do you see the problem? The BZ can use all of its rockets at the beginning to get into the early position. This BZ, the tier 11, can use its rocket once. Then it has to wait 25 seconds before it can use it again. This thing will not get into early positions. Like, looking at this, while this thing is cooling down for 25 seconds, the tier 10 BZ waits 4 seconds, whoosh, rockets, stops rocketing. 4 seconds, whoosh, another 10 seconds, rocket. He's way ahead of you. This is not very good, because reusable rockets mean in the very late game, you have rockets. Oh yeah, great. But in the early game, you can't get into the positions quickly. Well, guys, what's more important? I think the early game is more important, don't you think? Like, this whole tank shtick is that it's a heavy, a lot of HP, a lot of armor, a lot of alpha, but it has like the mobility of a medium to get into that early position. Well, this tank literally just cannot do that. So what is it now? It's basically uses, right here. Infinity. Imagine infinity. Cooldown, 25 seconds. I don't think that's worth it. Really? That's not very good. So yeah, that's the thing they're not showing you, right? They're like, oh, it can regenerate its rockets. Yeah, it has one rocket that it regenerates every 25 seconds. That's not very good for the early game. Oh boy. We're just getting started, guys. It gets a lot worse than this. I'm not even joking. It gets a lot worse. Alright, the Contriver. The DPM goes up a little bit, and then it goes up a little more when you upgrade the alpha damage from 440 to 450. I'm very disappointed in this. I saw a clip of Quickie Baby glazing this. Wow, 450! You could hit people for 900. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was really hoping this would be 500. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Because, look, I know, like, okay, Lesta, Cams, you're comparing to Lesta. can you just humor me for a moment? If we go to tier 9 and look at the Lissac V2, this is 2 tiers lower and it does 490. You could double people for 490. 2 tiers lower. Yeah, the DPM's not as good, the gun handling's bad, blah, blah, blah. Fine. But it's 2 tiers lower, and I play this tank because it has a very high alpha damage double. Why do you play this tank? This alpha damage right out of the box is the same as the ST2. You upgrade it, and oh wow, it can double for a whole 20 more alpha, and it's a tier higher. Very weird. I know a lot of people like the British double barrels. I'm not a huge fan of their mechanic, but whatever. The gun handling, slightly minusculely better. Same speed and, you know, pretty much the same horsepower, power to weight. Let's look at the armor, okay? Here's the can opener armor. And it's very funny. Wargaming they're just, you could say consistent, you could say lazy. It's up to you, right? Okay, lower plate, driver's hatch, corner plate, cupola. Okay, what does the Contriver have, right? All right, lower plate, driver's hatch, corner plate, cupola. Okay, splendid. The difference is, though, the can opener's lower plate is kind of small, right? If you're at, quite a long range and you aim here, your shot might go high in ricochet or might go low in armor not hit, right? It happens. This is World of Tanks after all. How can you miss this? This is quite a big lower plate. And it's not a thin, long line where, like, if the shell goes just a little bit high, it misses. It's a square. So you aim in the middle, and it doesn't matter where the shell deviates, it's going to hit the lower plate, right? Also, in the clip that Wargaming showed, they were like, the Contriver, it's so strong, heavily armored. It was ricocheting a bunch of stuff. This is like 210, 207, 204, 210. Tier 8s can pen this. You angle at 220. Tier 9s can pen this. This isn't really that strong. It's only strong when you get in a hull down, sure. In that case, you load gold and shoot the driver's hatch or the corner plate. Also, this driver's hatch is a bit lower, so you could go hull down more and you don't see it. This one is a bit higher. So, interesting. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really much care for this thing. Its gun is like a tiny upgrade, and the armor is kind of worse, to be honest. Like, that's a big lower plate, man. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to go ahead and say it's bad, but I'm not too excited about this thing, okay? What's its ability? Well, it doesn't really get one. It gets the double shot mechanic, right? Here, Wargaming's like, it's showing you this like it's a brand new thing when there's already a whole line that has this exact feature. But here's the funny part, right? He switched the double. All right. Fire your double. Boom. Right, Wargaming. Uh-huh. You aim here and the double goes like this. Yeah, we both know that's not how the British double barrels work, okay? You aim here and these two bullets or these two shells, they go here. Or they go here and armor not hit. Because it's like, it's not like you go 0.3 accuracy to 0.4, right? 0.3 pretty good, 0.4 bad. It goes from 0.3 or whatever it is to 1. 1. That's a meter dispersion. That's like, what? Completely missed the side of a mouse right here. Or armor not hit down here. Yeah, that's why I'm not a fan of the British double barrels. But anyway, let's just look at the next tank. The T803. Admittedly, this is actually where it kind of starts to get good, okay? It's not all doom and gloom. This one might actually be good. The DPM increase is marginal, you can see here. When you upgrade the alpha damage, it gets to 420. The gun handling is like, it's like ever so slightly worse. It's imperceptible, but it does get 10 degrees of gun depression. Very, very nice. Look at that. And then it's a very small health increase. It's just not that great. And then the armor. The armor is actually better. I know these numbers look kind of shitty, but it is better armor, right? Here's the E5. Okay, there it is. All right, okay. It's got a cupola. Everybody knows that. Aim like this. And you load the heat. No one's ever missing this, right? Okay, the T803. It's got spaced armor here. Very nice. So heat going to have a hard time going through this. Look at the cupola. It's a lot smaller. But it's like, it's kind of strange. Like, you compare the E5, you angle it. Lower plate, yeah, of course. The upper plate, I guess in theory you could pen it, but everybody just aims at the lower plates because this is kind of too inconsistent, right, to be reliable. So you just aim for the lower plate. The T803, okay, let's angle it, right, like this. Yeah, you can see the corner plate already, guys. Oof. This is a little more consistent. And if you're slightly above it, yeah. You're slightly above the E5. I mean, you could aim here, but your shot could go here or there, whatever. You probably still aim at the lower plate. This one, you can kind of reliably just shoot the upper plate. Also, there's a hole here. Interesting. Okay, interesting move, Wargaming. The gun mantlet is okay, but here. Use the gun depression. Very nice, very nice. That cupola is quite small. And if you're not firing heat, it's even harder to pen. It's got a corner plate in 2 spots. And it's very weird. They try to copy the E5. Like, exactly. I don't know why they did this. You look on the E5 here. Yeah, it's got a green spot here in the tracks. Right? Strong, 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 ricochet, ricochet. Green spot here. Well, they're like, okay, we'll do that over here as well. Okay. Did you really need to add this? This is kind of annoying. It means you can't really angle this thing because you could get penned and tracked in one shot. And then you can't side scrape because of corner plate. E5 kind of has a corner plate. Kind of. But not quite. This one is far more pronounced. However, look. The E5, if this tank did not have a cupola, this would be the best tank in the game by far. Not even close. It's got everything. It's got like troll hull armor. It's got decent mobility. It's got a fantastic gun with 340 heat. It's just the cupola holds it back. And it keeps the tank balanced. Any tank that is an E5 with a smaller cupola is just instantly going to be good. Right? And that's what this is. It's an E5 with a smaller cupola. So you go hull down and you have, like here, look, see this? You have T110E5 firepower without the weak spot. So that's pretty insane. However, it gets even better. Okay? This is its tank's ability. Pay attention to the reload. 8.08. Okay? Fine. Shoot. This little tick mark comes up. This means you have a better reload. However, look at this. Okay? As soon as he reloads, there, right there. You have basically half the time left to fire the next shot with this faster reload, right? So you do that, bang. And also, you don't have to pen, it seems, because he's shooting this and it's not penning. So you don't even have to pen your shot. You just have to hit the tank. You fire, and now your reload is faster. Let's see right here. Yeah. 7.76. Just like that. And when you get a kill, notice it jumps up 2 tick marks. Boom. So getting it actually very interesting. A lot of times you want to damage max, right? You leave the one shot alone because you want to get more alpha, you want to get more damage of the tank that has more health, right? But actually, this is, damage maxing. Shooting the one shot though, and it boosts your reload, that might be damage maxing. So it might be worth it. Might be. That's the key word. Anyway, yeah, he got a kill here, so it jumped up. How much does it jump up, Chems? 0.13. It takes off 0.13 seconds off the reload. Interestingly, if we look at this tank, the T803, its reload time is 8.63, right? However, here, his first shot is 8.08. So the person in this demonstration is running Brothers in Arms and food. That gets it to 8.08. Let's keep that in mind. I don't know, I guess he forgot to take it off or something. This reload is with food and Brothers in Arms, but no rammer, so it can get higher than this, right? Assuming this thing can mount a rammer. I assume it can. Probably. We'll see. Because this isn't really an autoloader. But anyway, so I did the math here. Starting at just the, here's tanks GG. It says the DPM is 2,850, which is marginally higher than the E5. But this is inaccurate because Here you can see 2,850. However, in the setup, if you use Cola and BIA, and you upgrade it to the 420 alpha damage, then it gets to 3,118. And now here's the entire load up, like charging. The first shot that you reloaded, right? It took 8.08 seconds to load this shot, and then it takes that much for the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. That's 6 reloads, 6 shots. This is the DPM while you're firing on reload, charging it. So let's say you were out of the fight for a while, and you just found a mouse that's AFK. When you first start shooting him, up all the way until you get to the highest reload, your DPM is 3,800. If we look at this, when you get to the top part right here, look at that. 7.27 right here. Yeah. You basically have to fire on reload. You have to. If you don't, the reload jumps up. 7.43. So let's say now you got to the top and you're firing on reload. This is your rate of fire. This is your DPM. And remember, this is your DPM without a rammer. If we go into here and times by 0.9, which is what it would be because it's 10% off. So only 0.9 of the reload is left. 3,851. So that's pretty cool. That's how the DPM works. We'll just keep it at the base DPM, or not the base, but what was shown in this, so it's easier to understand. 3,460 DPM when you're at your maximum. So it's a decent jump from 3,118. So that's pretty good. You go from 8.08 to 7.27, but it takes some time to get there, right? So this tank, it's already a better E5 in that it has a smaller cupola, right? It's already a better E5, and it also has this reload buff. So this tank might actually be really, really good. We'll have to see. So let's move to the next tank. The Imbattable. Yep, the Imbattable. Yeah, this tank is junk. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. Let's just switch this to gold. 325. 328. Ooh, what an upgrade. I'm looking at the upgraded stats. It's still 328. It doesn't go up. It does go to 420, so it's like 1600 to 1680, which is like, okay. It's so little, man. Who cares? The fucking gun handling is basically the same. Oh, look at this. Dispersion after firing 4, 3.9. Oh, wow. What an upgrade. You lose gun depression. Although I think you gain it back through the upgrades. No, actually you don't. You gain gun elevation through the upgrades. You don't get any more gun depression. So you've downgraded. Same top speed, a little bit higher power to weight. Okay, sure. The hull armor's worse. Oh no. The camo is slightly better, but this is such shit camo, man. It's kind of the problem with the 50B. It doesn't have camo or armor, so you just have to literally just play around your allies, wait for the enemy to fire, and try to get a clip in. But this tank heavily depends on its allies. So let's look at the armor. The 50B's armor, it's shit, but the hull can be used to bounce, right? You can bait people. You could poke this hull around the corner and hope they bounce off this. And then when they do bounce off it, you come around the corner and clip them out. The Imbattable does not have this. You come, and it's a pike nose, so you come around the corner and it'll be flat towards them, right? Yeah, very, very not good. Quite shit. If you use the gun depression, all 9 degrees, which is a downgrade, you do get an auto ricochet here that if you load heat, it says 230, so if you load heat, you're gonna go right through that, right? Yep. Not that you need to, I mean, look at this, right? Up here and down here. You will get lucky bounces, right? People aim up here and the shot goes low and it bounces off of this. Sure. Okay, fine. And you would think, oh, the side armor's 40 millimeters. That's one of the worst things about the 50B is that it's 30. So basically anything that's bigger than a 90 mil can overmatch the side. That's pretty bad. The Imbattable is 40, right? Yeah, it's 40 down here, but it's 30 up here. So yeah, you could still overmatch this thing. If it just shows an inch around a corner, you overmatch it and pen it there. Yeah, this thing is junk. And its ability is, it's so situational. Like, it's nice that you can keep a shell, one extra shell for the reload. That's quite nice. But is it nice enough to justify being a worse 50B? I don't know. And then people are saying, oh, wow, you can actually get 5 shells if you time it right. This is more of a right place at the right time situation. Because look here, it starts reloading when you have 1 shell left. So you don't actually have to fire the last shell before you can reload the clip. So the idea is that you reload the clip. Let's see here, it's ×2, right? You wait, and here he fires a bit early. Bang. There's a bit of a penalty. It goes from like 4 to 8, I think. I guess it was 4 seconds. And then you're back to 4 shells. So what they're saying is, in theory, right here, you can wait till this gets to like 0.1, fire your shot, and then like 4 seconds later, after the penalty, because you can see right here, it turns red, right? There's a penalty of like 4 seconds. Let's see. 4.3, 8 points. Let's just say 4 seconds. You get another 4 shells. So it's, you fire once, 4 seconds later, you fire once, 2.5, fire, 2.5, fire, 2.5, right? I think it's 2.5. Shit, I didn't even mention that. Yeah, it's 2.5. But the thing is, you can't control when you reload. It's not like you can say, oh, pause the reload right here, guys. Hey, loader, Mr. Loader Man, can we just pause the reload right here until we find someone? Okay, let's just pause the reload. Don't load the gun. Oh, okay, we found someone. Fire! Okay, you can start loading the gun now. No, you can't. As soon as this timer runs out, you lose that bonus, right? Do you guys kind of understand what I'm saying? To get the 5-round magazine that you want, you would have to want to pause it here so that you can use this shell when you need to use it. Otherwise, it's again, the right place at the right time. The person is fully clippable. Let's say he has 2,000 health, and he comes around the corner right as you're about to reload. Then, in theory, you have 5 shots. But, right, that's quite situational. So, is this gonna really be enough to make this tank worth playing? It's literally a worse 50B, and the 50B was not in a very good place, mainly because of its camo, and its camo making it so reliant on being a support heavy for its team. It has even less armor and no camo, and its ability is, like, holding the extra shell. Yeah, that's nice. Is it enough? I don't know. Alright, let's go to the next tank. The Blackrock. Alright, yeah, this tank. I'm comparing it to the Griffin because that makes the most sense, right? And it looks like, in theory, this thing has a lot worse DPM. This is inaccurate. The tank CG is not taking into account the cassette, the double shot that this tank has. But, okay, let's have a look here. It's 420 alpha, same as the Griffin, but when you upgrade it, it goes to 430. Although the DPM is higher than this because of the double shot, it still has a worse reload, right? So if it's trading 1 for 1 and it only gets like 1 shot or 2 shots, the Griffin will out reload it. But of course, you get the double shot after that, so it's not a huge issue. Gun handling, the aim time's better, the dispersion's better, and this gun handling, it's marginally worse. I would take this gun handling. More accurate, faster aim time. This is very minor nerf. Only 8 degrees of gun depression though, so it's like, okay, fine. Kind of a downgrade, but whatever. Basically the same top speed. Kind of not super great reverse speed. Power to weight is better though. Same ground resistances. But here's the thing. The Griffin doesn't have armor. This has armor. Thank God, by the way. And it does actually have a little bit more health, so it can be a heavy. That was my biggest criticism of the Griffin. Yeah, it says heavy, and you're going to get matched up against other heavies. But how are you exactly supposed to, like, push a flank and make a play with this kind of armor? Even when you load gold, this is pennable, that's pennable, that's pennable. The gun mantlet is pennable. This is 319. There are tanks that have 330, 340. They're going to go through this, right? Corner plate. Oh boy. Can't side scrape. Yeah, the Griffin's armor is pretty poop. The Blackrock, though, yeah, it's got some armor on it. This is more like a heavy tank, right? It's got these weak spots here. Okay, fine. Fine. You know, can't have it all. Still corner plate. Absolutely obnoxious. Here's the thing though, look at that turret. That is a huge upgrade from the Griffin's turret. Look at that. You load your 330 heat, it's not going to make a difference. And it's 8 degrees of gun depression. So, yeah. It's not quite the Chieftain level, and thank God, because this thing has Chieftain firepower. So, what is this tank's ability? And by the way, I forgot to mention, this tank is the mission reward tank. And the thing is, these missions are not so hard because you can, if the mission is too hard, if there's one mission that's too hard, you can just do weekly missions to skip it. It's kind of like orders, but you have to earn orders by doing missions with honors, whereas this is just weekly missions. So basically anybody can get this tank, given enough time. So let's look at it at its ability, right? Here it is. Okay, see these 2 tick marks right here? You can see it right here. You fire once, okay. There you go. Boom. It's reloading. Okay, reload. And you fire again. Boom. 2 tick marks combined into 1. You now have a double shot. Watch this. It fires. Okay, there's 1. Bang. And then it fire again. Bang. And it didn't cost any extra reload. Right? It's not like it's a double shot and now you have to reload for twice as long. You're back to being at the fast reload. That's why this tank actually has a lot more DPM than it leads on. Here's what's absolutely insane about this thing, though. So, I'm not sure. I don't think you have to pen for this to count. Maybe you do. Don't quote me on that. But look at this double right here. I thought there was an intraclip time. But nothing here suggests that there is an intraclip time. Because look at this. He's going to fire the first one. Bang. There is no intraclip time here. Normally, it would be like, let's say your intraclip was 2 seconds. It would say 2 and start counting down. The same thing with the logos here. The logo here and here. You would think if there was an intraclip time, it would like gray out. It would say, hold on, 2 seconds before you can shoot the second shot. But it doesn't. So let's look at that one more time. See that? You load the 2 shells. He fired 1. He fired the second. Can you stagger these shells instantly? Can you just go boom, boom, just like that, a double tap? And it's not like you need to aim the second shot. Look at the dispersion after firing for the first shot. Ready? Bop, barely moved. The second one, it actually bloomed out a lot more, which it kind of defeats the whole purpose of dispersion after firing. If you're going to make it so that the only time dispersion after firing matters is here, and it's not even being used. So, as far as I can tell, there is no intraclip time. You can just go tick tick and just launch 2 shots just like that, which is actually insane because that means you can instantly track someone. Because you know, a lot of times with hardening, you need more than 1 shot to take the tracks off. Well, you just took the tracks off. That's going to be really strong. Like, really strong. And if you notice here, his reload is 7.73. That's faster than the 10.07. That's because the person in this demonstration has quite a strange equipment setup. He's got bounty rammer, bond vents, cola, and BIA. So you can see here, 7.73, 7.73. So, yeah, this is quite high DPM already. So it's not like it's going to get higher than this. This number's wrong, right? So what is the actual DPM? You can see 2,503, 2,502. It's 3 because of a rounding error. It's 10.7 something. It's the same thing, right? 420 with 10-second reload. But of course, when you upgrade it, it'll be 430 alpha. And this takes into account the double shot because there are 3 reloads in order to get 4 shots, right? You reload, shoot 1, reload, shoot 1, reload, shoot 2. There's +1 here because I thought there was an interclip. If there's no interclip, then I guess it's 3.416 thousand DPM. So that's quite impressive, and that's with no equipment. This is 7.73. That's what this person has in the video right here, 7.73. That's with bounty, this equipment right here. 7.73, 4,266 damage per minute. And of course, if there truly is no 1 second inner clip, 4,450 DPM. That's quite intense. Yeah, 4,450, and you basically hit for 860. You just go 860. Wow. Guys, intense firepower and an impenetrable turret. Do we have another chieftain on our hands? You know, the pre-nerfed chieftain? To be fair, this has 8 degrees, not 10, but that's pretty much where the downsides end. Also, I just noticed this thing has a boat hull a little bit here. It's not intense, but it's there. But yeah, so if you poke this, you're impenetrable and you have crazy DPM. I wonder, is this thing gonna be the new chieftain? We will have to see. This is going on, this is a very long video. I have 2 white monsters right here. Here, I'm hitting the cans together. 1, 2. Oh, I'm fueled up, boys. Let's keep going. The 69 Hacker. Its damage per minute is 3,000. It's marginally higher. When you upgrade it, the alpha damage goes from 410 to 420. So, okay, that's good. The heat, 330. What's this? 335? Kind of marginal difference. I mean, like the 1-to-1B is 350, right? That's quite intense. Just look at the laziness, man. What is this? Same aim time, same accuracy, pretty much the same dispersion factors, same gun depression, same top speed, slightly faster. It's slightly more health. This is very slight more amount of health. Although it does get nice camo, so that's a bonus, right? Okay, let's look at the armor. The Patent's armor is a blech. Yeah, you load heat. What a joke. My tank goes 48 kilometers per hour to have this kind of armor. Doesn't the 60 TP go like 45? Oh, I guess they nerfed it, right? Use your gun depression. Green. Yeah. What about the Hacker? All right, this is how it looks. Let's go look at that. It's better. It's less annoying. Like, it's not got these tiny little bullshit areas to get penned. It's more just like clean, I guess you could say. The gun mantlet, though, look at that. 280. Kind of the same as the Patent, right? 250-ish. I guess if I load APCR, 260. Yeah. The hull, not very good. And it doesn't have the Patent's signature boat-shaped hull. Because, you know, look at this. It's a ricochet here. Yeah, we don't got that on this. However, its hull down capabilities are better. As you can see, if you can hide this, it's strong. The gun mantlet's still weak. It's still a better turret. But, like, it's basically the same firepower for a worse hull, but a better turret. Okay. What's its ability? It just gets really accurate. Which I think is the same as the Leopard, but, you know. See, yeah, there. Very good dispersion factors and accuracy. It looks like for 2 shots, I guess. 2 shots, you get this good bonus. Is that enough? I don't know. This tank seems kind of boring. I don't know. I don't know if it's bad, but it's just kind of. This is what I mean. This is like, it's just a tier 11. This is a tier 10.5, right? Come on, this is a tier 10.5. Let's look at the next one. The CS63. This one might actually be pretty good. Not gonna lie. The DPM, again, a very marginal increase, but remember, you can upgrade this alpha from 420 to 430. And let's look at the pen, 315. What is this? 335 heat. Sure. The aim time is a bit better, but dispersion factors are the same, and if not even just slightly worse. And yeah, that's kind of the annoying thing about the CS. CS has a very derpy gun. 0.35 accuracy is not, like, it's average. Why Wargaming calls this a sniper is beyond me, because 0.35 is not a sniper gun, okay? 0.25 is a sniper gun. And the dispersion factors are not that bad, but the problem is when you exit the siege mode, the dispersion, like that big reticle, doesn't instantly snap to being small. You gotta really wait it out until it gets smaller and smaller. The aim time's very long. and this is only marginally better. However, it does have an ability that will fix this, so we'll see. Okay, here we go. It's a bit heavier, but same power to weight basically, right? So it's slightly faster. The CS63 in its speed mode, it goes 70. This thing's speed mode doesn't show up here because it's kind of different, right? But I'm going to just assume it's the same because in the video it has the same top speed. So I'm going to assume it's the same power to weight, okay? It has better camo. That's quite nice. The CS's camo is not the greatest. This is a lot better, so that's good. It'll help you play more like a medium, right? It's kind of weird because World of Tanks or Wargaming calculate the camo based off the height of the tank, but these are like literally the same height. So they just decided to give it better camo just to buff it. But let's look at the armor, right? CS armor, it's not very good, but it's good in certain circumstances, right? Baiting people with this auto ricochet front. Even here, like you aim at center of mass because, you know, World of Tanks, you want the shell to hit. And then the shell does go where you aim and it ricochets. Classic. But yeah, look, this tank was modeled back when Wargaming was at least a little bit based. There is no corner plate. It's spaced. Sure, it has this here, but it's not as obvious because, of course, it's not the whole thing here. So you have to know, okay, aim right here to get it. The CS67, okay, let's look at the armor. It doesn't have an auto ricochet upper plate like the CS63. You see that? Kind of a downside. Corner peeking, you can't really corner peek because this plate sticks out facing the corner you're peeking. This kind of, but you know, you load gold, it goes right through. So the armor's worse, and there's no space here. It's just a straight corner plate, so. The turret is better. Like if you look at the CS's turret, 130, that's really bad. That's garbage. This 230, it's still not that great. Like, some tier 9s will struggle, like the T54 with its 200 pen. Yeah, it won't go through it. But a lot of tier 9s have like T230, 240, 250, and, you know, this is weak too. If you use your gun depression, though, sure, it can be strong. So, this tank sacrifices its hull armor to get slightly better turret armor that can work sometime. Is it worth the sacrifice? It's up to you. Although, the thing is, this tank's ability is what makes it actually might be worth playing. So far, it's basically a CS63 with a worse hull but a better turret. But let's look at this ability. It's quite interesting. I'm assuming this person is in the speed mode, judging by how much the gun blooms. And yes, as you can see, you're accelerating, and you get to, I believe, 70. It's the same as the CS63. Although it looks like it went to 75. So is it 75? Once you're fully charged, it goes to 76? 76. He presses E, and look at this. 85, 86. With a turbo, this goes 90. If it's 86 with a turbo, a bond turbo and engineering, that's like 83 or 93. Isn't that the EBR 105? That's the EBR 105 speed. I mean, yeah, it's for a short duration, right? You're not gonna have that speed for very long. But you know, if you have to reset the cap circle, or if you really got to get out of a sticky situation, this will come in very, very handy. But then it also has another ability. Look at this. You activate this. It's when you leave the speed mode and you go into the shooting mode. Now when you shoot, watch this. It charges it up a little bit. Okay? And it seems to just go up over time, even without shooting. And you don't even have to do damage. You just have to hit the tank and it goes up. So what happens when it goes up? Let's see. He's gonna go. Sure. Once he gets to the max level, here, it increases your reload, or decreases your reload, I believe 7.99. Here, this is where he activates it. 6.39, and look at the reticle. It gets smaller. So, this actually kind of eliminates one of the most annoying things about the CS, especially in Clan Wars. In Clan Wars, you have a very close game, There's like 3 people left on each side, and you have to hit that kill shot, and then the CS's gun just fucking derps because it's a CS. This fixes that. Not only do you reload faster, but you're more accurate. So this tank could actually be really peak. Like, this tank would be really good. You get a huge speed boost when you need it for those tough situations. And then you can be very accurate and reload fast when you absolutely have to be. So now maybe this ability catapults it to tier 10 or tier 11 levels of firepower, like what you would expect. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to the CS67. I think this ability will be quite nice. Now, also, because of this speed boost ability, maybe you don't have to run a turbo and you could go vert stabs. That'd be quite nice. We'll have to see. All right, the 430. Let's compare the... whoa. What the hell is this? The DPM drops. Look at that. So you might be thinking, oh, it's got some ability, right? It charges up and so it gets higher alpha. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. It's 450, but with the upgrades it's 460. So it's marginal increase for like 2 seconds added to your reload. It's a bit more accurate and a very tiny amount of gun handling bonus. Sure, fine. The power to weight is a little bit worse, although I suspect maybe you'll be able to upgrade that. Yeah, you can, okay? But, you know, before you're going to have to grind 320,000 XP to get all the upgrades, so you're going to be slower for quite a while. The armor is worse, and the hit points, wow, that's not a very high increase, is it, guys? 21 or 2,000 to 2150? And the camo is worse. The 430U, for some reason, has really good camo. Probably because it's a very short, stout tank. But, okay, fine. Here's the 430's armor, right? There you are. Okay. You got a lower plate, this. Cupolas aren't very weak. You load heat. Okay, cupolas are now weak. Cheeks are weak. Upper plate, kind of weak. It depends. You know, you wiggle. You might bounce off the upper plate. Okay, let's look at the 432U. Huh. Interesting. What's this? Look at this hull. This hull looks very familiar. It looks like the 430's hull. The 430 has a very similar thing going on here where it's, you know, 40 millimeters, you can overmatch this. So there you go. What's the thickness? Still 40 millimeters. We went up 2 tiers and this is still overmatchable. And don't be fooled by people who take screenshots of tanks really up close. Like, look, oh wow, it's impenetrable. Look at that. Yeah, maybe if you're right up in this thing's face, but if you're like, even like, what is this, 50 meters away? Yeah, look, it's a very easy lower plate shot. That's perspective, right? Cupola is kind of weak without gold. You load gold, the cupola's weak, and then just the turret, like, front here is weak. This is weak. That's weak. The cheeks are weak. The whole hull is weak. It's a lot of weakness. So, is the armor better than the 430? There, perfect. The upper plate is a bit weak, a bit stronger. And that's about it. Again, tier 10.5. But okay, what's its ability? Because its ability increases its alpha. You know, we've all seen that. It's like the first one they showed us. So that's going to increase the alpha damage, or the DPM, right? Wrong. Let me show you, okay? Here it is, 10.7 seconds, 10.77 seconds. Okay. Fire. It doesn't charge if you're reloading. So once you reload, and then you press X, now it starts charging. But guys, you have to hold your shot to charge it. Are you seeing this? So it's not going to increase your damage per minute. So once you're reloaded, you can see right here, it starts 1.3, okay, bing, bing, bong, goes to 3.4, all right, keep going. And then after, now you have to wait 4.9. Once that's completed, that's, you get the 560 alpha. And I thought I saw 600 somewhere in some video, but I guess it's 560. And then you have 2.9 seconds before it actually gets to 0 and you lose it. So you have to fire it before it... you have to fire the gun before you lose it, which is interesting. But yes, adding those three numbers up to get to 560, this is the DPM, right? Here it is, 11.51 times 460, that's 2,397. You wait all this time to get to 560, your DPM is 1,300. What the fuck? It didn't go up, it went down. You go up to tier 11, your DPM goes down, and then when you charge up a shot to get higher alpha, it goes down even more. Are you kidding me? What is this? The 432 is, I think it's just going to be a stinker. Like, the armor upgrade is very marginal at best, and then you get worse DPM. And then if you dare try to charge your alpha, every other ability gives you like more DPM. This gives you less. What the hell is this? Oh boy. Oh, and by the way, this is amazing. You waited through all that time, your DPM crashed because you're waiting to charge this up, and then you've got 3 seconds to use it before you lose it. Wow. I am not looking forward to getting this tank. I don't think I'll play it at all. Yeah. It's true, Alpha is king, but Alpha is king. We're talking 560 with 1300 DPM. Like, 560 Alpha, that's not like that crazy, and 1300 DPM. Yeah, okay. What a stinker. Let's look at the next medium. Oh boy, you can already see it, can't you? Okay. DPM, marginal increase. However, the alpha damage, 420, 440, it goes to 450. Okay, a little bit better. What's the gold pen? Leopard gold pen, 323. This, 335 heat. Yeah, I don't know, man. We lost the amazing 1600 shell velocity for 1000 heat. What's the standard? 1400. So yeah, if you want to snipe at heavily armored tanks, you can have low shell velocity. And oh, what the fuck am I looking at, guys? Slightly better aim time. Slightly. This isn't Leopard accuracy. What the hell am I looking at? What is this? And oh my goodness gracious, 0.21? You go from 0.3 to 0.21? For reference, the 60 TP, you know, that derpy gun, it's 0.22. This is wow. So this is Wargaming's amazing idea for you. The ability, and you know what, here, I'll show you the ability in a moment, but you're slower. You're slower. Okay. Tiny power to weight, but you're slower. Tiny health gain. Tiny camo gain. Okay, but what about the armor? Oh, the armor. The turret looks strong, right? Here's the Leopard's armor. You can see here, this is the Leopard, tier 10. You do have these. And I hate these, okay? Why do I hit these so often, man? I aim here and the shell goes here and it ricochets. If you've played a Leopard, you've ricocheted shots. You know it. If you played against a Leopard, you've ricocheted shots. Yeah, this is quite common, right? So, the Leopard 120. This gun mantlet, this kind of looks like the Lion, right? So, does this tank have a strong gun mantlet and then an auto ricochet side? Okay. You don't have the auto ricochet side, like the Leopard. What about the gun mantlet? So the armor's worse. Like the Leopard didn't have very good armor, but it at least had this going for it. They didn't even bother to give this the auto ricochet cheeks. All right. So the armor's worse. It's slower. The gun is worse. It better have some ability. Okay. What's the ability, guys? When you activate it, you have to be going slow. When you're going slow, it charges up. Bing. There. You are now more accurate. Your reload does not change, it seems. 8.35. But you're more accurate. You see this ability on? This is the Leopard 1. This is the Leopard 120. It's much bigger on purpose. So what they did is they nerfed the gun dispersion, they made the gun shit, and then gave it back to you only when you have your ability enabled, which is a temporary thing, right? The Leopard 1, right, this Leopard, it's accurate always. It has good dispersion factors always. So you just fire on reload, you drive, fire, you're always accurate, you always have this. This is shit, and you have to get into a new mode to get it to be good. And you're still slower, by the way. What the actual fuck is this? This is the first one that is not a tier 11. It is straight up a tier 9 or a tier 10. Like, guys, let's think about this for a second. Imagine this was like an assembly shop tank, right? And they called it the Leopard 120, and it was like, oh, it's a Leopard with slightly higher alpha damage, but worse gun dispersion factors, worse top speed, and worse armor. Okay, that makes for an interesting tier 10. But this is a tier 11. What is this? This also is going to be a big stinker. This is a big stinker tank. You get an ability that unnerfs your tank. Yeah, incredible. All right, the Bat Chat, the ASXX40T. Interestingly, it actually has quite a jump in its DPM. Look at that. It's basically the same gun. I mean, it goes from 390 to 410, which will go to 420 after upgrades. But it's basically the same magazine size. It's marginally larger. Let's look at the pen. 330, 335. So not much. Yeah, it's very small increase. What's the shell velocity? 1460. You actually lose shell velocity. They're both APCR. But this is just slow as shit. Now, maybe the upgrade will make your shell velocity go faster. Maybe. But again, guys, 320,000 XP. So you basically have to regrind the whole tier 11 just to get it to be at a decent state. And oh no. It's slightly better aim time, but what is this? What is this, guys? What is this? The Bat Chat was already kind of known for having a derpy gun, right? It's kind of annoying. This is worse. This is pretty bad, guys. This is 0.19. The only upside is it has more gun depression. Goes 1 kilometer per hour faster, although I think it goes to 68 if you get the upgrade, so okay, whatever. Marginal power to weight. It'll go up again if you upgrade it. Oh, look at the camo! You know, one of the nice things about the Bat Chat 25T is that, let's say if your light tank died, you could take up a light tank role and try to scout. You're not doing it in this tank. You know why? Because the Bat Chat looks like this, and this tank is huge. That's why it has such shit camo. Anyway, okay, here's the Bat Chat. You've got an auto ricochet upper plate. You know, sometimes you ricochet off it, right? It's not unheard of. And that's about it. This, not quite an auto ricochet. I mean, it's 35. That's still less than 60, though. So, yeah. 8 degrees of gun depression. That's good, I guess. But, yeah, the armor is nothing to get excited about. The only thing, though, is this is quite a big-ass gun. Like, there's a lot of, like, spaced armor here. Which means you can gun block if they're firing heat. So if you're like hull down and you don't have any way of like just hiding, you could wiggle like this and hope that your gun absorbs it. I mean, it'll damage your gun, but at least you don't take damage. But yeah, I mean, like, this is not really something you would rely on. It's just, you know, something for you to know. If you're looking at one of these, and you're firing heats, you might want to intuition to AP, right? And yeah. So what's this tank's ability? It's terrible. Yeah, it's actually terrible. All right. You can choose how many rounds to load, like, right? Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. It's basically an auto reloader, guys. But it's worse than an auto reloader. Because here, look. Let's say, boom, I just loaded 2 shots. Maybe I only need 2 shots. Maybe this guy only has 2 shottable, right? My turret is locked, and I cannot fire. So like a Progetto, as soon as this second round loads, click, just fire. You're good to go. This tank, not so much. First of all, you're not even looking at the target. And then you have to, look, you have to press the button and there's a time delay. What is it? 3 seconds. So someone comes out and you have your 2 shots that you want and you want to shoot them, okay? Now you can shoot them. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell is this? The only benefit to this is that it's an auto reloader that does not have a penalty the deeper you go into the magazine. Guys, we already have reverse auto reloaders where the more you fire, the better your reload gets. So this is like, it's better than a Italian auto reloader, but it's worse than, let's say, the IS-3A, a Russian auto reloader. I guess worse when you go deep in your mag. Filling up a mag to your maximum capacity in a Russian auto reloader takes a long time. But I don't know about you guys. I don't want to have the situation where I'm technically an auto reloader type, but the moment I want to actually use the shells, like let's say I loaded 2 shells. Imagine there's a wall here. He comes around the corner and then he shoots you. An auto reloader, you would just shoot right back. Let's say he comes around the corner and you want to shoot. He already backed around the corner a long time ago. In fact, if this is like a Progetto 65, he just put 2 shots into you before you could even respond. I guess the only argument you could make is don't play this like an auto reloader. When you run out of shells, just run away. Treat it as though you have a really long reload. When you get your 2 shells, then you only need 2 shells to kill the enemy. You switch the mode, and you switch out of it so that you can aim, and then you come back, right? Then you come back and finish them off. But like, that's kind of the same as an autoloader. It's just that maybe you don't have to wait as long for the reload. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This is not really that good. I'm gonna be real with you. Maybe I'm a retard, and when these tanks come out, it turns out this is the most amazing ability in the world. Fine, sure, I'll eat my hat, as they say. I don't even know if that's the correct use of that idiom, but whatever. But yeah, okay. Medium tanks, they're kind of stinky. I'm not gonna lie, like the CS is good, but the medium tanks, ugh. Alright, let's go on to the TDs and lights. Okay, the Breaker. This one I'm actually kind of excited for because it seems like it's gonna be insane. The DPM, like the Badger already has some of the highest DPM in the game. It gets a bump in its damage per minute. Sadly, it doesn't really get an alpha damage bump. I kind of wish it did. It's a very good gun regardless. The only downside is that when you load gold, 320, 326. 326? Guys, the Tortoise at tier 9 has 326. Yeah, that's right. When you go from tier 9 to tier 10, you actually lose gold pen. And then you get it back at tier 11. To be fair though, when you upgrade this, it'll get to 331, which I think is good. I think that's okay, it's good. The aim time, accuracy, all this is the same. It's pretty good. Dispersion factors, I mean, they're not very good, but it's still better than the Badger. And the turret is pretty good. It doesn't have a turret, but what this means is traversing the gun left and right. That's what that means. 10 degrees of gun depression on both, that's nice, but look at that. 18. That's very nice. The Tortoise has 20. You actually lose it on the Badger, it goes to 15, and you get it back on the Breaker. It's 18, but one of the upgrades is actually it goes to 20. So like apparently we shaved off some of the armor on the gun mantlet or something so it could traverse more. I don't know how that works, but oh boy. Yeah, this thing's slow. And look at that power to weight. Oof. Yeah. However, it's got an ability that will fix this. And wow. This is pretty much the same camo as the DBV, which is second place to the Sturv. So this is very, very good camo. People are going to have a hard time seeing you. And when they do, oh boy, the armor on this thing. Wargaming, they base camouflage on height, right? And this thing is very short and stout, so it's going to have very good camo. But here's the Badger, okay? There you go. And here's the Breaker, okay? Oh no, it has a cupola. It's quite small, but it's worth it. You'll see why. The Badger. When you angle this thing, like this, it's kind of good in that this plate here is thick. See, the lower plate, 171.5. That's the same as the Breaker, 171.5. Oh no, we're a tier higher, and it's the same. And in fact, the Badger gets this here. So when you shoot someone, and then you drive around a corner, pretend this box right here, don't look at the mouse, look at the box. Pretend that box is a building. You drive around a corner, and they might try to shoot your lower plate, and they hit this, right? And it bounces off, right? The Breaker doesn't really have that going for it. However, the biggest problem about the Badger, like this lower plate thing, that's nice, but I don't care for it. Really, I don't care for it. Watch this. Let's load, like even just a whole re, right? You load gold. Oh boy, this thing armor falls apart. And for the sake of, let's just take it to the extreme. Heat. Yep, look at that. Let's use the gun depression, right? Point the gun straight. All the gun depression. It's still gonna pen it. 86%, 87. And right here, it's still going right through it, right? All right, let's look at the Breaker. Let's load tier 10 YAG heat rounds, 420 heat. Kind of can pen it, but let's use the gun depression. Whoa. That is very, very strong, man. Look at this. You lose your weak spots. And like here it's green. This is green. This is like a tiny pixel here. You know, you wiggle your gun. No one's going to hit that. A YAG can't pen this. He can't even high roll to pen this. It's like 500. And it actually gets even better than this. Because, right, okay. YAG heat. You look at that. It can absorb it because it's got spaced armor and the tracks are kind of thick. But yeah, you got this up here. Not very good. You do this. Wow. Look at the spaced armor on this thing. Look at that thick chunk of spaced armor. You angle like this, and a YAG cannot pen you. He has to hit your lower plate. That is a huge upgrade from this, where it's like there's always a big green spot for the YAG. This? Holy cow. Of course, if he loads AP, wait, what? I thought you could pen it. You still can't pen it. This thing is very strong. So that's what I mean by saying I'm okay with this cupola and this weak, not as strong lower plates because I've got more usable armor. The front is thicker. The side has thicker spaced. This thing is a beast. You could say, oh, well, yeah, it goes 20. Look at this. Yeah, that's pretty bad. However, that's where its ability comes in. So we're comparing it to a 60 TP, and the 60 TP is not a very slow heavy. It's actually quite nimble. And you can see we're charging it, right? We're going uphill. It looks like it's the same. And then as soon as you get to this charge, watch this. Look. That's fast. Look how fast this thing's going. Holy shit. And to be honest, that really didn't take very long to charge. I thought it would be like 30 seconds, but it was more like 5. Was it 5 or am I tripping? Okay, maybe 10. But like, look at this thing go. Wow. I wonder if the move is to stack gun handling so you could fire on the move and never have to give up this speed bonus. But yeah, so like, you've got this armor, and this is against a YAG, by the way. Let's be more realistic. Let's say a tier 10 heavy, 113, 340 heat. 340 heat, there are tanks that are higher, but generally, most tanks is 340 heat or lower. You are just impenetrable. He can hit here, but, oh, okay, interesting. So yeah, if you're angling, use your gun depression. Yeah, this is how you angle. Turn your gun like this and point it like that. If they're firing heat, even maybe AP will go through. Okay, kind of not. And yeah. And maybe they can go here. Maybe the armor flashlight will kind of ruin it. but their only hope is to hit the cupola. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this thing. This is going to be quite powerful, I think. This is probably the best tier 11, I think. I think that's safe to say. It's probably the best tier 11. Maybe the Blackrock's better, actually. We'll see. But okay, this is the best. Now I'm going to show you the absolute worst. Okay. Grill 15. The Hirschkäfer. Yeah, whatever. The DPM, it marginally goes up. The damage does not upgrade. So this is it. This is 550. It's always going to be 550. He actually went down, which is, yeah, okay then. 334, and then 340. 340 heat at a tier 11 tank destroyer. 340 heat, I mean, a lot of tier 10 tank destroyers, it's like 360, all the way up to 395, and then the Yag's 420. This is 340. Ugh, whatever. The aim time's a bit better. The accuracy's slightly worse. The dispersion factors are better, but they're not great, man. Like, the grill's 0.4 is actually worst in class. The DBV is half this. So 0.33, it looks much better. It's still really bad. The Contriver, it doesn't even have a fully rotatable turret. It only gets 5 degrees more. I think maybe you can upgrade this. Yeah, you can. 57. And the gun depression goes to 8. So, okay, sure. It's the same top speed. After the upgrades, you're slightly faster. You got more power to weight. Yeah. The camo is a bit better, but it's not like crazy good. I think this is like above an E4. I think it's middle of the pack, we'll say. Remember, the breaker was 18. This is the sniper tank, and it has 11. Whereas the breaker, this enormous heavy tank, is 18. Grill 15, yeah, as you would expect, it's auto pen. HE, yeah, right here, yeah. This thing, it kind of has it going for it that it's a smaller target that you can't really, you can pen it with HE, but it's harder, right? Like, this is, wait, let's go like that. Yeah, this is a big target. This is a smaller target. So, yeah, it's not an auto ricochet, I don't think. Yeah, it's 20, but you're not going to so easily pen this with HE. But here's what I don't understand. The Grill 15 cannot turn its turret all the way around. I think it should, but I guess you could make the argument that let's pretend this thing went 180 degrees behind. That means the loaders, like the guys over here, the loader, the gunner, the whatever, they have to stand on top of this, which is like a, you know, might be inconvenient for them. So I guess, okay, sure, maybe this thing can't aim all the way around. What's this tank's excuse? This is a turret. Why can't it turn all the way around? I mean, come on, Wargaming. This is a 120 mil. It does less alpha. It's 550. And you still thought, like, oh, no, we can't give this a fully traversable turret. Why? Would it really have killed, like, would it be that overpowered to give this thing a fully, like, traversable turret? Especially since the ability is, ugh. Let's compare it to the tier 9. This will really blackpill you. Because, what the hell is this? Tier 9 to tier 11. 3,000 DPM? 2,600 DPM? You get worse pen, and this is 340 heat. This is 352 APCR. You know what that means? This has 3 degrees of normalization, whereas this one doesn't. It can also go through spaced armor, whereas this one can't. So this is way better. You have higher alpha with a faster reload, 2 tiers lower. You have a fully traversable turret. Okay, sure. The aim time is a bit longer, and the accuracy is a bit worse. This is still pretty good accuracy. The dispersion factors are a bit better, but look at the turret, man. When this thing will turn its turret, it's gonna bloom like crazy, like a Grill 15, which means when you're trying to lead a shot on someone moving, good luck. Because you're gonna bloom like crazy. This doesn't have that issue. And then, oh, look at this. Depression, 5, 7, okay, it goes to 8. That's like the one good thing, but you don't have a fully traversable turret. And yes, admittedly, this tank is much, much faster. But if you're sniping, once you get to your location, it really just comes down to your gun, right? I mean, it's a sniper. The Panzer IV, 2 tiers lower, has a way nicer gun. Look at this. 3000 DPM, 352 APCR. Nice turret traverse. Fully traversable turret. So what's this tank's ability though, right? In theory, it can charge up a shell, right, and get more DPM or something. Okay, let's have a look. You reload, and it doesn't charge if you're reloading. That's what they're showing here, right? As soon as you reload, check this out. Okay, do I get my damage boost? No. First, keep an eye on this. You have to wait 2 seconds. There, 2 seconds have just surpassed. Now, you can warm up your shell. Now, unfortunately, in this demonstration, he fires it early. He fired it like right around here. And then over here, the next scene, it's already halfway through. So it's kind of hard to calculate how fast this thing charges. Watch this. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's about a quarter. And so 4, 4, 4, 4. That's 16. So 16 seconds plus 2 seconds, because apparently it's got to do this like warm-up stage before warming up again. I don't get it. And then you get the high alpha damage. And if a tank is within a one-shot, like 750, and that's 749, you ammo rack it every time. And I know people are like, well, it's already a one-shot. Why do you need to ammo rack it? Guys, it means you don't low roll, right? That's quite nice. You never low roll. The problem is charging the shot. It took 18 seconds to get to 800 alpha. Let's have a look at the DPM, right? 550, 12.56. Right? 12.56 says it right there. That's that shit-ass DPM. You add the 18 seconds to warm up to 800, 1570? So to have 800 alpha damage, if you want to be a DBV, you have to have 1500 DPM. Or 1600. What? Why? Let's compare this to the DBV. Okay? 2440. This thing is higher when it's higher because it has less alpha, right? Okay, fine. If you want this to be 800, the same, it's 1500 DPM. Okay? The dispersion while turning the turret. Oh dear, look at that. And like, that's kind of the worst one because you need to turn the turret to aim. So the one that affects your aiming, you're leading a light tank gets spotted, he's running, you're trying to lead your shot, turning the turret. This thing blooms like crazy. The DBV doesn't bloom. Oh, this is my favorite little Easter egg. The terrain resistance on soft is so bad that the 60 km/h top speed drops to 18 on soft terrain. So what's soft terrain? In 2025, it's basically just water. Basically, if you drive through water, you go 18. Jesus Christ. And they literally copied and pasted the stats because they kept this weird quirk with the Hirschkäfer. And as you can see how bad it is right here. Like the DBV, when it's driving through water, it can go to 40. It slows down a little bit, but 18. What a bunch of garbage. The DBV has enough armor to block HE a lot of the time. And it actually has camo. This doesn't have camo. Like, yeah, it's better than the grill, but it's not the DBV. Guys, this tank is worse than the DBV. This is not a tier 10.5. This is a tier 9. When we compare it to a tier 9, look at the guy. Just look here. Firepower. Red, 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 red. What the hell? Look at the shell velocity. Oh boy. It's a tier 9. It doesn't hold up at all to the DBV. And its little gimmick just tanks your damage per minute. And the only thing it's good at doing is ensuring one-shots. That's its only benefit, is that you can charge this up to just be a little bit above the enemy health to ensure that it's a one-shot. Okay. Fine. But yeah, that's actually... This thing, it might just be the biggest pile of dog shit I've ever seen in my life. That's It's really bad. All right, the STRV DPM is a bit better. Its alpha doesn't change. This is as good as it's gonna get, right? And it's basically kind of the same in every way, right? It does get higher pen, right? So the gold pen goes from, oh, sorry, what was that? 350 to 356, but when you upgrade it, it goes to 361. Okay, the accuracy is a tiny bit better, sure. Dispersion factor is kind of the same. I guess you're a little bit faster. Same, you know, you go fast backwards. You have better terrain resistances, so that's nice. And the armor is better, so you would think, oh, okay. So I can ricochet things more often, right? Okay, we'll see. The camo is actually better, and the Sturv already had insane camo, and it's even better. So yeah, wow, look at that. Let's go into the siege modes. And 0.24, 0.23, same basically dispersion factors, right? Top speed, basically the same, okay? Almost the same as the Sturv in every single way. So is this even a tier 11? And it seems like a tier 10 to me. Let's look at the Sturv's armor. When the Sturv at tier 10 is looking at you, the upper and lower plate are both auto ricochets, right? And you got some leniency here. If you aim a little bit up, still an auto ricochet. You aim a little bit down, still an auto ricochet. And then you got a cupola here. And then you got this weird thing here. I don't think anybody actually ever aims for this, but yeah. If you load heat, which this doesn't have, it'll go through it because it's not a ricochet, right? Let's look at this Sturv. When it's aiming at you, it is not an auto ricochet. It actually has to aim down for it to become an auto ricochet. It's a lot wider. Like, all of this is spaced. The Sturv is not actually, like, you see this? This is spaced armor. This is not part of the Sturv's hitbox, which means you can kind of, like, block HE with this thing, right? Because it's spaced here. This one. You got some spaced. I don't think it's enough to block HE. Maybe it is. Okay, it is, but yeah, it's a lot wider, so it's a wide boy, and you've got a lower plate. Like, from long range, you're gonna pen this. It's not an auto ricochet. Let's see for this from long range. Yeah, it's still an auto ricochet. This, it's not. It's also got its larger corners here, which, again, people don't aim at this, but I think with the armor flashlight, they might just aim at this, because, I don't know, they might aim here and it'll show green there. Got a cupola as well. Is it bigger than the Sturv? I think it's a little bit bigger than the Sturv's cupola. So the only upside is that whereas this is 50 and 40, 50, 40, so a 122 will overmatch this, a 152 will overmatch this, and the lower plate, a 122 will overmatch this. For this, it's 60. Look at that, 60. So you're going to bounce almost everything, except here, this is 50. So it's not, you're not going to bounce 152mm rounds, right? I guess this will make it easier to see. Right around the gun, big 152mm guns will overmatch this. So yeah, it's interesting. The plate is thicker to where nothing can overmatch it, but it's not angled enough to actually be a ricochet. So is this an upgrade? I don't know if this is an upgrade, guys. I'll be real with you. I don't know if this is. However, okay, let's look at the pillbox mode. And this is confusing a lot of people. It has siege mode and pillbox mode. You can see there's X, and then X with this little line here. I'm assuming that means you have to hold it for longer. So here, look. He will activate siege. How long does siege take? You press it. It looked like 1.5. This is much longer. I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 seconds. Once you're in the siege mode, you're a lot faster. As you can see, pillbox mode, you're a lot slower. However, you can see the reloads are faster for the pillbox mode. And you're more accurate in the pillbox mode. And you see, look, the siege mode and the pillbox mode. The siege mode is faster to react. The pillbox mode is slower. So pillbox is basically for very, very long range where you don't need to be quick, right? And yeah, so you're more accurate and you have an even faster rate of fire. So, interestingly, this person, 6.01 in the siege mode. That's, 6.02. That doesn't match. So this person in the video that we just watched right here, they have food and BIA. That got it to 6.01. that matches it in this video. So in that case, in pillbox mode, it goes to 5.41. So what happens if you actually got the stirve, you put a rammer on the stirve, and you put vents on it to get it, the reload to 4.88. That's its DPM. What's its DPM in pillbox mode? So as you can see here, that's the DPM in the video. Took the ratio. It's 10%, right? So it's 0.9 left over. 10% of the 4.88 of this equipment is 4.39. Its DPM in pillbox mode is 5,326 with rammer and vents. Bond, that is. So that's, yeah, that's quite scary. That's, pretty intense. So pillbox mode will be great if you have positioned your stirve far away, but able to see the enemies pushing. They're all shit shoving. They're all out in the open. This thing is gonna mow them down. That's pretty impressive. So, off to the next tank. So that's its ability. Off to the next tank. The Borkenkäfer. Borkenkäfer. Is German even a real language? The DPM, just a tiny, absolute marginal increase. Although this 330 will go to 340. Okay, so that's nice. The heat pen 280. This goes up to 285, but it can actually go up to 290. So 290 is okay for a light. It's still not that good, right? But whatever. Gun depression is 12. That's pretty nice, actually. That's huge. And you can upgrade this to 14. However, I don't know if you've noticed, but everything else is the same. Like, actually, same reload, same shell velocity, same ammo count. Although I think maybe you can upgrade your ammos. Yes, you can get to 40 shells. Look, same aim time, same dispersion factors. What the fuck? Now, of course, if you upgrade it, I think it improves these. But, like, upgrade is 320,000 XP, right? It's going to be a while before you get these upgrades. So you're basically just a panzer wagon. The power to weight, 44, 45, is a marginal increase. But look, the terrain's resistance is actually, it's pretty good. So this thing is a lot faster than the panzer wagon. So that's nice. 1800 to 1900. And the same kind of poopy camo. So, yeah. The armor, panzer wagon, it's overmatchable everywhere. You load HE, you pen it everywhere. Nice HE, 120 for 420 damage. Similar to this, it's 120 for 430, although I think it goes to 440 with the upgrade. So let's see the armor. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much an auto pen except for this, but yeah. HE, again, goes right through it. It is nice though, 14 degrees of gun depression, I'm not gonna lie. So, like, I like the panzer wagon. This is basically a bit faster panzer wagon with 14 degrees of gun depression. Is that enough to go up to tier 11? No. This is a tier 10.5. But let's look at its ability, okay? It's got an interesting ability. I've talked about it before already. Here we go. What's the cooldown? Is it gonna say? I don't know. All right. You fire. You can see you don't have to pen, right? It says right here, armor not penned. And look, that little bulb icon appeared here in 12 seconds. So you don't have to pen. That's good. Because, you know, you're a light tank. You're a panzer wagon gun. You're probably not going to pen. And it seems like, just based off of numbers, it seems like a 10% damage boost. The YAG, like, anybody you mark takes 10% more damage. So, there you go. That's if they're lit and you fire your gun. If you blind fire your gun, it marks them. If you hit them, that is, right? So there's an enemy here. He's not lit, but you just hit them. And remember, you don't have to pen. You just have to hit them. I don't know this for sure, but I'm like 80% sure, right? If you didn't have to pen this one, why would you have to pen this one? You know what I mean? So we'll just assume you don't have to pen. And it marks it for them, so that's pretty good. However, both of these require you to fire your gun. Which means both of these require you to get yourself lit. You can't use this ability while passive scouting unless you've got like a contingency plan where it's like, okay, I'm in a bush, I fire, and I will immediately go to this dip so they can't hit me. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I wonder how many players are going to try and blind fire, get themselves lit, and instantly blow up. So, yeah, I don't know, Wargaming, if making it a firing button was the move. Couldn't you have just made it so that when you ping them, it does the same thing? I mean, this already has a cooldown, right? So you could ping location, and you got a cooldown, so you can't just spam ping. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I like the Panzerwagen. This is a bit better version of the Panzerwagen, especially with the gun depression. And this ability can be very useful if you know how to use it correctly. AKA, know that you will probably get yourself lit and use it accordingly. So yeah, that's good, I guess. I'm going to go through all of these now and just give you my conclusion, whether or not it's worth getting. Okay? Here. The Rat. The armor is basically the same as a mouse, but you're up-tiered. However, you do have the coaxial guns, which I think is one of the better abilities, right? So I think it still might be worth trying it out. It's still got very strong armor. Maybe a bit weaker tier for tier. Maybe. It's a, preface with that with a maybe. But it's, again, it has the coaxial gun. I'd say it's worth getting it to try it out. Same thing with the KR1. It's basically just a better IS-7. It's a bit slower, and it does have a cupola, but it's a very thick cupola. And any tank that had enough penetration to go through your cupola would have probably went through the IS-7's frontal turrets anyway, right? So, yeah, sure, worth getting this. The ramming ability seems to be actually a lot better than I initially anticipated, because it can hit for like 1,000 on a Leopard when going like 35 or 40. You don't have to be that fast. We'll have to see. T803. I think this tank's also worth it. It's basically almost identical to an E5, but it has a much smaller cupola, which instantly makes this tank amazing, right? E5 with a smaller cupola, instantly this tank will be amazing. Plus, it has an ability that increases its damage per minute. So, I think this tank will be pretty good, and I think it's worth getting. The Imbattable, I don't think this tank works in today's meta. If we had, like, not corridor maps where flanking and all that was much more prevalent, it would be better. It's kind of like the TVP. The TVP is not very meta because the game has progressed to a shittier meta of just hull down corridor. The TVP is not a bad tank, and the AMX67 is not necessarily a bad tank, but they're so out of meta, I wouldn't recommend it. And actually, this tank is worse than the 50B, right? It has worse hull armor, which was like you could use to bait people with it. Yeah, I don't know. I would skip this one. The Contriver, this tank doesn't even get an ability, right? It's just a can opener, but a bit better. It's a bit higher alpha. If you liked the can opener, sure, go ahead. Just know that you have a bigger lower plate, right? That's quite a big lower plate. Will I be thrilled about this? No. BZ79. I know a lot of people are excited about this. It's a stinker. Because the rocket ability is not good. Yes, you can recharge your rocket, but that means you can only use the rocket once before you have to recharge for 25 seconds. The tier 10, you can use it 5 times, and the delay between them is only 4 seconds. So you can rocket 4 seconds, rocket 4 seconds, rocket 4 seconds, rocket, until you're in position. This tank can rocket once, and then it's out of rockets for 25 seconds. This tank cannot get into the early position. If this tank can't get into the early positions, what does it actually have going for it? Because that was kind of the BZ at tier 10s. That was its whole schlick, right? It's got a lot of HP and it gets to the position early. This tank cannot do that. So, yeah. The Blackrock, I think this thing will be pretty strong. It seems like its double burst does not have an intraclip, which means you could just tip and boom boom, right, just like that, which catapults this thing's DPM quite high. And the turret is basically impenetrable. Like, it's literally impenetrable. I think we've got another chieftain on our hands here. The only difference is that it doesn't have 10 degrees, it has 8. But other than that, this seems to be another pre-nerfed chieftain. So, yeah, have fun with that, guys. The mediums, okay? The 432, the DPM decreases. And if you charge up a higher alpha shot, it decreases even more. And the armor is not even that much better. Like, the upper plate is better, and everything else is weaker. Tier for tier. I don't really care for this thing. I don't know. I'm going to get all of them day one because I have 230 million credits and a jillion free XP. I'm going to get all of them. But like, if I had to grind this, I wouldn't bother. The Leopard. What a huge disappointment. The Leopard at tier 10 is very accurate. It has pretty good gun dispersion factors, and you can get some ricochets on the turret cheeks occasionally. They nerfed the shit out of the accuracy and gun handling just to reintroduce it as an ability. This tank's dispersion factors are horrible until you use the ability. So why? What the fuck? And it's slower, and it can't auto ricochet off the side of the turret. What a stinker. I'm not looking forward to playing this thing. The CS67. This tank is like marginally better than the tier 10. It's got a weaker hull, but a stronger turret. However, it's the best parts about the CS and the worst parts of the CS are both improved with this thing. The CS is fast. This thing is faster in short bursts. The CS has shitty gun handling. This thing can have good gun handling for short bursts when it matters, right? When you have to hit that crucial kill shot in a close game, it can do that. I think this tank will probably be very good just because of that. You can, it's like RNG mitigation on the gun handling, and then the best part, the speed, actually gets even better. So yeah, I look forward to playing this. This thing, it's just like a weird auto reloader that cannot react if it needs to fire its 2 shells because it takes 3 seconds to switch out of the loading mode and into the firing mode. In those 3 seconds, someone can poke out, shoot you, and pull back. You can't respond. It's just like a glorified auto reloader has some upsides, but quite a big downside. Not looking forward to this. XM69 Hacker. This is the most mid tank out of all of them. Like, the armor is better than the Patton. Yeah, not the side armor, but the turret front and all that. And its ability is that it can become very accurate for 2 shots, which, sure, you know, it's not terrible. It's a good ability, I guess, but it's, again, just like the Patton, it doesn't do anything super special or crazy, so it doesn't really interest me. The Hirschkäfer. Absolute pile of shit. Same DPM as the grill, with lower alpha. Which means it has lower DPM, lower pen, worse gun handling, worse turret traverse. The gun is worse than every single way than the tier 9. When you went from the tier 9 waffle to the tier 10, it downgraded in every single way, but you could say, oh, I do 750 now. I have higher alpha. So all these downsides, the lower pen, the lower gun dispersion factors, the non-fully traversable turret, it's worth it because I have higher alpha. This thing doesn't even have higher alpha. It's 550. The waffle at tier 9 does 560. This tank's ability is that you can charge it after 18 fucking seconds. You can charge it to a DBV 800. What? That's it? And doing that kills your DPM. Catapults it down to like 1500. What a stinker. The only saving grace is that because this thing always ammo racks if your alpha damage is higher than their health, you will never low roll. You will always secure the kill. That's the only benefit of this tank. But to do that, to secure that kill, you have to kill your DPM to 1500. Not worth it. What a stinker. Absolute garbage. Wargaming, why couldn't this be 750 alpha like the grill, but then it charges to 1000? If this thing could charge to 1000 alpha, then it would be worth waiting 18 seconds. You know what I mean? It might be worth waiting that long if it's like a big 1000 alpha shot. But it's only 800 alpha, which is the same as the DBV. So, yeah, what a stinker. It's kind of a better Sturv when it's in its pillbox mode, right? It's even more accurate, it has even more DPM, and the armor is a bit strange, okay? Your lower plate's weak, your upper plate is stronger. So this thing has to be hull down more often. But when it's hull down, it's going to be quite strong. Only 152s are going to overmatch where your gun is. Although the corner is weak, we'll have to see if the armor flashlight ruins this tank's armor. But I think this tank will be pretty good. It's basically a Sturv, but better. And in pillbox mode, it's so much more better with its DPM and accuracy that it will probably be a tier 11, I guess. Maybe tier 11 and tier 10 and a half, tier 11. Is it worth getting it? I think if you like the Sturv, then you'll definitely like this, right? No surprises there. The Breaker. Oh boy, what a beast. A Yag, when you're using your full gun depression, a Yag cannot pen you. It can't. With heat, 420 heat. You angle at 45, they can't pen your sides because the space side armor is so thick. This thing has an enormous amount of armor, and it has it's basically an identical gun to the Badger. But you gotta remember, the Badger already had a really good gun, so it's still a really good gun, with more gun arc, way more armor, but it is slower. However, as we saw from the direct drive here, it doesn't take much to get really quick in this tank, right? So I think this tank will be really good. And it's got a lot of camo bonus, as if it needed it. So this tank can pretty much do it all, right? The only downside is that it's slow for a little bit, but then it can get quite a decent speed boost with its ability. Alright, the Borkenkäfer. It's basically a panzer wagon with very minor buffs. It's very minor. However, it does get 14 degrees of gun depression, which is very nice. And its ability in the right hands will be very good, but its ability in the wrong hands will be very bad because it requires you to fire your gun in a light. When you do that, you'll probably get spotted. Bad players will get spotted and died easily. Good players will know when to shoot and when not to shoot. So I think I will play this thing. I look forward to playing it. 14 degrees gun depression is, if you like the Panzer Wagon, then you'll probably like this thing. And that's it. That's all the tanks. Holy fuck. That was such a long video. I'm so tired and my voice hurts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.